Welcome to SethCraft. Over the past year, I have been developing a new product based around the French Cleat tool storage concept. I have come up with a cleat wall that is in 8-inch sections, and you can add them together and stack them on top of each other to make a whole wall of French cleat storage. As you can see behind me, I've got this 3 foot by 1 foot section done, and I have also been developing a whole bunch of tool holders. So, for example, I've got a drill and impact driver holder up here, but here's one that can hold your combination squares, your speed squares. You just fit that in there and it holds that. I've also got screwdriver holders, such as this one right here. So you just take your screwdrivers. So I've got these really big screwdrivers, can fit here on the end and fit in like that, and then there's other holes for smaller ones in there. But this has the 45-degree slit on here, and that allows it to fit onto the French cleat wall. Now, if you've ever used French cleat, you know that if you bump it, the item can come off the wall. Well, with my system, I have invented something called the wedge lock, and it is this little piece right here. Maybe kind of hard to see, but that essentially slides into the groove above the holder and locks it in place. So let me bring you up closer to the wall and you can see some of these in action. Here is the screwdriver holder, and you can see it's got the cleat there on the back. I can just set that in place. Now, without the wedge lock, if you were to bump that, it could come off the wall. But with the wedge, you simply just take it on one side of the track and slide it into position, and now that cannot be bumped off the wall. And I can now store my tools in there just like this. The beauty of the French cleat storage wall is that if I don't like this tool holder being right here, I can then remove it and move it to a new place very easily. Just slide the wedge out of the way. I can take this and put it up here in this corner, slide that back in, and put my tools over there. At the time of filming this video, I have 25 different tool holders available on the website. Let's just go through a couple of those real quick. This one is a caulk tube holder. So you can put your standard size tubes of caulk either upright like this or down like that, and they will be stored. So this one holds 7 different tubes right there. This one is fun. It's for storing safety glasses. You can just keep them up there and they will hopefully not get scratched, and you'll always know where to find them. This one right here will hold all kinds of pliers or snips or whatever you want to put in there, but it just has a small circle and then an oval there, and it allows you to put handled tools like that and keep them up on the wall. This one right here is handy. It's just a 3-peg holder, and I store things like these earmuffs on there, and like the level hole right here can go in there, and store that out of the way. I actually used this one to test out the strength of my cleat wall, and I put 40 pounds across these 2 pegs on a wall, and it held it. So I don't recommend that you put 40 pounds on a single hook, but you definitely can from my testing. Strength test for the French cleat wall system. I've got this 3-peg I'm going to place here on a single cleat. Get that right there. I'm going to use one of the wedge lock to keep this in place. And now I have 40 pounds on a string. Got 2 20-pound dumbbells. I'm going to set this on top of the cleat and release here. There we go. It is holding 40 pounds. As you can see, each of these tool holders has a perfect fit on the wall, and the wedge lock fits on each one of these and prevents them from falling off, and you're able to move them around if you need to. To get started with this install, I have 4 sets of the 3-pack wall cleat. What this is going to allow me to do is have 3 different rows at 3 foot long. So to do that, what I have is a piece of 1/2 inch plywood that is 3 foot by 1 foot. And that's going to be perfect for having 3 different sets of these French cleats installed. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to put this together and get it on the plywood. This is what's included with the 3-pack of wall cleat. You've got the hardware for mounting, you've got the end caps, the alignment blocks, and then 3 of the cleats, as you can see right here. So to get started, I'm going to set the 3 cleats in a row, as you can see right here. And then I'm going to use these alignment blocks. These are going to go into the end of the cleat right here. You can see those diamond-shaped holes, and those are going to allow the unit to align to the next piece. So push that in all the way, as you can see. And well, there's 2 of them for extra strength. There we go. And then these pieces will then click together. That will help with alignment from piece to piece. Also helps with getting things straight whenever they are installed on the wall. So I'm going to do that same thing here with the next one. Get the alignment pins installed. Get those to snap together. There we go. Now, because I want this to be 3 foot long, I'm actually going to add 1 more of these to the end, and then I will put the end caps on as well. The end caps are going to be installed the same way. You just press in those alignment tabs, and then there are a left and a right on here. So the one I need is this one right here. Get that to press together, and then I can swing way around here and get the other side installed as well. Sometimes these are a little tight, which is how you want it. All right, I now have a 3 foot section done. As you can see here, it's time to get this put onto the plywood. Now, there are a couple ways you could do this. You could put your plywood on the wall and then mount these cleats, or you can put them here on the plywood and then mount the plywood. So I'm going to use them here on the plywood first and then mount them up there in just a moment. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have good spacing. So I just got a tape measure, and I'm going to say that I want this to be, looks like about 1/2 inch from the top. Now that I have this first strip where I want it, I'm going to use a drill and the included hardware to get this installed. And that's just simply going to go into these screw holes right here. Now, I recommend that you get them started and then come back later with a screwdriver to get them tightened up, so as not to push in here too tight. I just got the first row completely installed here on this 1 foot by 3 foot piece of plywood. I do have to go back and tighten things down a bit more. I'm going to install the 2nd and 3rd rows just like this one, and then we will install it on the wall behind me. I now have the 2nd row installed. I'd like there to be a nice consistent gap between the 2 pieces. So from the bottom, I'm going to move up 7 1/4 inches. Now, of course, you can have whatever gap you want on your own wall, but I just noticed that this would be a good one for me. So 7 1/4 is what I'm going to do. All right, check this out. I just finished getting the 3rd row on there, and as you can see, it's nice and uniform and straight, ready to be put onto my wall. So this is 1/2 inch plywood, and so it is plenty enough to hold all of this up on the wall. And because it's 36 inches across, I'm able to hit 2 studs, which is important. So let me go ahead and get this on the wall using a level and putting some screws into it. To hang this up on the wall, I'm going to use a level on top to make sure that it is level. And then I've got 4 of these 2-inch screws that I'm going to put in here. Now, I know where my studs are on this wall because of this placement here and here. And so I'm going to go ahead and use this pre-drilled hole to get this in place. I can now place my level on top and adjust accordingly until I have this nice and level where I want it. The French cleat wall is now securely fastened and ready for the tool holders to be put in place. Let's test out the wall by using the SethCraft drill and impact driver holder right here. I'm going to put this on the wall, use the wedge lock that's included with this, and that just simply slides into place. So now this cannot come off the wall, and then we can take our drill that we were just using and store that right there. Now it does have the bit in there still, but I could remove that, store the drill, and then put that bit up here on the bit holder, as well as the Phillips head I was using, and that will stay in place just like that. Now the beauty of the French cleat is I'm able to move this around on my wall, so if I didn't like this one to be right here, I could easily just move it right over here and store this up here, and it would be in a nice place to keep that like this. Whoa, sudden change of scenery. As you can see, I have got a whole bunch more of these tool holders back here, and you don't have to have my slat wall in order to use them. They can fit on a normal French cleat wall as long as you've got a 45-degree cut in the opposing direction. So, but that being said, they won't have the wedge lock, and so you can still bump these off the wall. I want to show you one of my favorite ones. This is the disposable cup holder. So say you have paint brushes that are known for getting the paint everywhere. You can put them in a cup, and whenever the cup gets too dirty, throw it away. Or if you're going to be having a bunch of random loose nuts and bolts and screws, you can put them in there and you can see the type that's in the cup. And if you have to take it to a job, take that out, go do the job, and then bring it back and set it in there. So I like that. But as you can see, I've got tons of other tool holders. I've got wood glue, scissors, I've got spray paint, I've got art paint, a shelf, pens, pencils, cups, tissue boxes, glove boxes, all kinds of stuff. So this is kind of a shameless ad for my new product. I hope you do check out the links in the description down below and let me know what you think. I'm able to get these shipped out within a couple of days, and you can store all of your stuff on the wall. I've been developing this for close to a year, and I've started off not knowing how to 3D model at all, and then once I got that done, I had to design the cleat walls and all that, and it has been honestly a fantastic adventure learning all of this stuff. So anyway, that's my new product. I have at least 10 more ideas swirling around in my head that I am ready to get out. Thanks for watching. I'm Seth with the SethCraft Workshop, and I will see you in the next video.